I welcome you all for the today's very interesting program on e-filing during MCA digital transformation from V2 to V3 and way forward. Considering the current situation, there is a lot of issues in ROC filing portal and which form can be filed in V2, which form to be filed in V3. So many, and some of the forms are not getting filed. But I am not finding any way forward, but sir will show way forward for these issues and he'll enlighten on that. I know majority of the members are busy in their tax audit filings. Still we have kept this topic because it's very important post filing of your company's returns. We need to comply with the ROC returns. To enlighten us, we have with us CS Chandhra Sekhar sir. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
I also welcome all the members for this program. Even in your busy schedule, you are actively participating in this program. I welcome you all for this program. Hope it will be a knowledge enrichable session. I request our Secretary Pramod to give a brief introduction of today's speaker, Chandrasekhar sir. Over to Pramod.
Thank you, Chairman. I would
sorry,
like
1 minute. I forgot to inform one important thing. We are starting a certification course on forensic accounting and fraud detection from 15th October. It is on Saturdays, weekends, 7 Saturdays. Very interesting. There is huge opportunities for forensic auditor and fraud detection auditors. This certification will help youngsters. It's only a limited seats of 50 seats. Please register. We'll circulate brochures soon. Thank you. Over to Pramod.
Thank you, Chairman. I take the privilege in introducing CS Chandhra Sekhar sir, who is academically a postgraduate in commerce from Osmania University, Hyderabad, a company secretary, cost accountant, law graduate, a semi-qualified chartered accountant, qualified insolvency professional, and registered valuer. He has more than 2 decades of corporate exposures and worked with Indian MNCs, listed, unlisted, including closely held companies. His experience covers secretarial, legal, corporate governance, financial, accounts and audit, including taxation, commercial laws, insolvency matters, and business valuation. Recently started own consulting firm called KC Sekhar and Associates, company secretary's firm engaged in corporate advisory, business valuation, and insolvency matters. Prior to starting his own consultancy firm, he worked as a general manager and company secretary with ACE Designs Limited, Bangalore, leading manufacturer of CNC letters, having turnover more than 100 crore. He was heading a secretarial and legal in charge for accounting, auditing, taxation, and corporate governance. His early career started with Mrs. Infoban Technologies Limited, software company, and a STPI unit, which was in Hyderabad then, and then moved to Mrs. Baruka Aluminium Limited, Mysore, a listed company, followed by Mrs. Denso Kirloskar Industries Private Limited, a Japanese company. He is a passionate learning and he very frequently adopts to the changes and new concepts, and first person filing financial statement in XBRL format from Southern India in year 2010 and 2011. He presented seminars and study circle meeting at chartered accountants, company secretaries, cost accountants, and officials of MCA and Institute of Public Enterprises in Hyderabad, like public deposit, related party transaction, boards, XBRL, IFCY, Schedule 6, Ind AS, related party transactions, service tax, GST, transfer pricing under income tax, pre-pack insolvency, resolution process, etc. He successfully completed GST migration of ACE Microtech Group and convergence into Ind AS. With this brief introduction, I welcome you, sir. Now I would like to present you to the audience.
Thank you, Mr. Pramod. I'd like to thank Mr. Srinivas, Chapter Chairman, Managing Committee of Bangalore Chapter for Chartered Accountants, and all the members. I thank you, and I'll start. Can I proceed, Mr. Pramod?
Sure, sir. Over to you.
Can I share the screen?
Yes.
Today's this session, e-filing during MCA digital transformation from version 2 to version 3 and way forward. And as Mr. Srinivas was telling, we know all chartered accountants are busy working around the clock to meet the timelines. In spite of that, because of importance of due dates and also V3, and there are certain due dates which needs to be filed with the MCA, like DR3 KYC, those things he has organized. So I'll proceed with the discussion. What I made this today's session is we're just in the transition mode from version 2 to version 3. This version 2 to version 3 started in the month of March, starting with the LLP, and from 1st September, it is made mandatory for companies also. So what we made a brief analysis and discussions for a chartered accountants who want to practice, just to give a brief about what is happening in the situation, where to, in case if I want to file the documents, which site I have to refer, what are the various types of users. So just to say this, we have mentioned what are the objectives of and need for MCA V3. We would like to discuss these are the points. History of ROC filing process. Difference between a version 2 and version 3, what are the differences? Key changes in MCA V3, what are the key changes? Types of users in V3, business users, registered users. What is the difference between RU and BU? RU means registered user, BU means business user. I will be regularly using RU and BU. Business user ID creation. Here starts our role. How to associate DSC. Recognition, RU migration from B2. Highlights of a V3 filing, list of forms, authentication. So these are the points where I'll be focusing on that. And if any members have got any questions, either they can put it in the chat box, or maybe I think once in after 1 hour, we can discuss it. Just to say, what are the objectives of what are the objectives of MCA V3? Objectives of MCA V3 is in line with the changes. Enable the business community to register the company, file and statutory documents quickly and easily. Provide easy access to the public documents. Provide faster and effective resolution for public grievances. Provide registration and verification of charges easily. Proactive and effective compliances. Enable MCA employees to deliver best of breed services. Okay, now there are certain objectives. If we look back for a while, how the ROC process, filing process used to happen earlier, from after post-independence from 1956 to 2006, we had offline filing, manual filing, physical visit to ROC. So during the 1956 to 2006, almost more than 50 years, we had offline filing. 2006 started online filing. 2006 to 2011, we had online filing. Though it's still online filing, this is image filing. That is called as MCA version 1, where we used to file finance statements attaching XBRL PDF documents. In the year 2011, there was an important change where they would like to have certain filings of finance statements in XBRL. So with that, we started this emerging filing. We know all XBRL, it is an interactive filing where ROC ministry sitting from the Delhi, they can make out which company was defaulted, which company not defaulted, how many companies have gone for IPO, those things. It was there up to 2022. Now, 2022 onwards, V3 has started now, virtual filing, web-based, and it's a continuous interaction. So this is our history of ROC filing in nutshell. Now we are moving 2022 onwards, virtual filing. This is a real online filing. Difference between V2 version 2 and version 3. Version 2 is an offline preparation, online filing. We used to download the form, prepare online at our own free time, only for filing in online is required. In the version 3, there is no longer online, offline, online preparation, online filing. So this is a one important change all our community should know. This is a complete online. Download the form. Throughout the form preparation filing, we have to be online connected in the internet, then filing. Second change is in version 2, if I want to see all my companies where I'm associated, all the things, there is an option called My Workspace, which had a list of notices from the MCA and circulars. Under version 3, they made as an My Application personalized. This My Application is like our dashboard. It features all to view all the forms file, status of each form, pending documents to be uploaded. So basically under version 3, we got My Application feature, which is having a dashboard for all our users. Very important changes in the V2 to V3 is OTP authentication. Under V2, all users were required to have a user ID and password. Now under V3, apart from user ID and password, we need to have a OTP authentication. So OTP authentication means whenever I log in first time, apart from after giving a user and password, next level I need to authenticate with OTP. Why this OTP has become important is earlier managing directors login, consultants login, other login, we used to use it. So whenever I log into the system of others, user ID password was enough earlier. Now apart from that, OTP is required to access the system. Under MCA with V2 user ID, we used to log in using user ID, and in V3 email ID is mandatory. So whatever we are using email ID, that is a mandatory login. Under version 2, both registered and business users were allowed to file. Just to recollect, version 2 also we had a two concept of registered user and business user, but there was not much differences. Everybody used to go for a registered users only. So under version 2, both registered users and business users were allowed to access the files, all the features and file. But in version 3, only business users are allowed to file the documents. So these are the some changes, important changes within OTP authentication. Email ID is a mandatory login. Only business users are allowed to file. Now, MCA digital transformation, if you take, is it an opportunity or a threat? In the sense, now if you see, look at the changes are happening, so much of technological changes, digital transformation is entirely changing the way of filing. So if you look back, is it MCA V3, is it an opportunity for professionals or threat? It is like a two-sided sword. If proactively learn process and catch up the faster changes, definitely it is an opportunity. If you lack updating, if you don't have a complacency, it will become a threat. So for MCA digital transformation is definitely, it is an opportunity for most of the people, but if they don't catch up, it will become a threat for any professionals. I would like to share one recent presentation about this changes, how is happening, just for the members to look at it, how the future is changing faster than you think. So this I'm linking our MCA V2 to V3, what fast is changing. Recently one research study is done. So I would like to share for 2 minutes for the benefit of members. See, this exponential technology is faster, cheaper, and this is computing powers. If you see sensors, networks, artificial intelligence, robotics, blockchain. So all these technologies are very faster than what it was. Second thing is then we have got a lot of transformation changes. These are reinventing every business model and ecosystem. COVID-19 has taught the whole world the power of exponentials. See, in the Kodak 1996, their market capital was $28 billion. They had a 1,40,000 employees. 2022, it has become bankrupt. Employees are 17,000. Similarly, April 2022, market cap has come to $1 billion. So it means that if you see within a period of 96 to 2012, where the technology has been changed the way of a business, the same concept is applicable even for any business, including for professionals also. So my advice or suggestion to any other members is ensure that we have to catch up with the changes. Otherwise, changes will overbeat us. So if you see technologies, 20 years later, if you see radio, tape recorder, technologies, there are many things. Afterwards, all these technologies after 20 years will be in the one pocket. So I would like to recollect how MCA call, either you call it a GST or income tax, how far they're changing, we need to catch up. So that is in the same way even MCA also is looking for looking the changes in order to serve the customers and also ease of doing business. So with this, I'm going to the some of the MCA changes. What changes are incorporated in the V3? Key changes in MCA V3 filing. All existing directors, partners in the LLP, key management professionals, key management personnel, professionals, they need to create a business users account and associate. So I'm just repeating, any person who wants to use MCA V3 portal, they mandatorily need to create a business user account. I'll come to that. What are the various types of business user accounts, how to create, what are the challenges, and way forward. Mandatory use of business user account. Mandatory use of business user account and associate DSC for all persons signing up forms. So mandatory use of register. All directors, key management personnel having business user account can file all the forms of company where they're associated. So there is a XYZ private limited company. If there are 4 directors, those directors can file all the forms wherever they're associated as a director. So here comes the practicing professionals. Practicing professionals having business user account can file forms of all the companies and LLP. So here the difference between director and chartered accountant who is working in a company as a CFO and practicing chartered accountant. If A is a director in a XYZ limited company and also ABC limited, he can file documents of XYZ and ABC limited company because he is a director. He can't file the forms of other companies. Whereas practicing professionals called as chartered accountants, company secretaries, or cost accountants having COP, they can file forms of all the companies. One of the director or can create a business user account as an author signatory. Now, next comes to the what happens all people who has accounts in MCA V2. All existing users in V2 shall migrate to V3 in order to file the documents with the under V3 version. What is the procedure? I think we'll come back to later. Business user account under V2 can directly use MCA V3. So under version 2 also, we had a business user account as well as registered user account. Under version 2, who had business user account directly, they can use MCA V3 also, and they can utilize all the filing requirements. Registered users under V2, they need to log in V3 to V3. They have to change the profile as a version 3. We'll come to that process. They need to upgrade profile of a business user with a certain additional conditions. Now coming to under type version 3, what are the various types of users? Under version 3, we have registered user and business user. Under business user category, companies can register, companies and LLP as an entities they can register, or directors, designated partners can register, professionals can register as a users, professional staff members, manager, secretary, or author signatory. So under version 3, there are two types of users: registered user, business user. Registered user has got only limited purpose. We'll come to that, because if a person wants to become a business user, for him DIN number is mandatory. So if Mr. X would like to start the company as an incorporated company, DIN number will be allotted only at the time of incorporation. So he cannot file the document without a business user. So for that purpose, they given a registered user only for incorporation, because the director, as on the date, he doesn't have DIN number. DIN number will be allotted only at the time of incorporation. Whereas business user creation requires a DIN number or a SIN number is mandatory. Since he doesn't have DIN number, then at that time, a registered user is permitted. Apart from that, business users, they need to have a companies and LLPs can create a business user. All the directors and designated partners of LLP, they need to create. All professional users, chartered accountants, company secretaries, and cost accountants, manager, secretary, or authorized representative. So the difference between registered user and business user is, registered user has got a limited purpose. As we discussed, he can't have all the facilities. Whereas a limited business user has got all, he can utilize all the facilities under the MCA. Mr. Pramod. Mr. Pramod. Mr. Pramod.
Sir, tell me.
Tell me, sir.
No, I think how do we will have in case if the members has got any doubts, we'll have interactive analysis and when, or we'll make at the end
No,
of the
they'll
session.
put in the chat on question and answer, sir. Q&A.
Okay, then we'll take a break after some time.
No, after end of your session, you can take up that question, sir.
Okay, then
If you
fine.
want us to read out, we'll read out, or we can take it directly. You can take it up.
I'll help you, sir. Not an issue.
Yeah, sure. So again, just I'm repeating here. Types of users in version 3: registered user, they're individuals accessing basic services. Types of business users: business user called company, LLP, director, professional users, professional staff members. So this professional staff member is a facilities given where if a chartered accountant is having 5 assistants, because using this login requires a OTP authentication. So one chartered accountant can assign professional staff members and also create a login. So whatever the filing is done by professional staff member is reflected in the professionals. So this is an enabling where practicing professionals can permit the staff members to create. Similarly, manager, secretary, officer who is in default. As we know, under the Companies Act, any person can be made as an officer who is in default for the purpose of compliances under the Companies Act. Hence, officer who is in default also, once the board approves the person as an officer in default, he can also create a business user account to use the all MCA facilities, since he has been one of the officer in default for ensuring compliances. So this is a snapshot of entire V3 in the categories. So if a company has got 10 directors, 10 directors can create a business user account here. Company also can create. Why company has to create is, once a company creates a user account, they will give authorize one person, one of the director or a company secretary or CFO as an author signatory. Any forms filed against that company, any notices received by the company will be reflected in the company. So also if somebody charges, if somebody files a charges against any company, this company will get a notification. So for that purpose, they have created companies also for limited purpose. Now we discussed under V3 version 3, there are two types of users: registered users, business users. Registered users has got limited facilities. Business user has got multiple comprehensive access. Registered users, now all existing users of MCA, V2, by default they're treated as the registered users under V3, and also any other individuals can also create as a registered user under V3. Business users, we discussed company, director, manager, officer in default, professional staff member, nodal officer. See, these are the categories of business user permitted under V3. Last we discussed professional staff member, nodal officer, deputy nodal officer. We'll come to that. And certain companies for compliances, especially IEPF, Investor Education Protection Fund, there are certain compliances, claims are there. In order to process those claims as an author signatory, there are also created two types of persons role as a nodal officer and deputy nodal officer. Now, for registered users, if until we migrate to business user, these are the following facilities for registered users. They can access ebook under MCA, e-consultation paper, master data services, view public documents, filing complaints. So all, again I'm repeating, all the existing users of MCA V2 are treated as an registered users under V3. Though they got, these are the only facilities access given: accessing of ebook, e-consultation, master data, view public documents, filing complaints. So if they want any complaint, they can file. Now going to the business users. For business users, we got a comprehensive access. Under business users, as we discussed, one is a company and LLP user. If we are registering XYZ Limited as a business user, XYZ Limited registers Mr. A as an authorized representative, they will register as a business account. That A, using company's SIN number as a business user login account, they can access all MCA FO services. FO means front office services, basically accessing the forms, filing the forms, these are the services. So if a Mr. X is a director, is registered company, XYZ registers as a company as a login, Mr. A is an authorized signatory. That login can be used for filing of the documents of the respective company only. So if XYZ using XYZ business user account can be filed only documents of XYZ Limited only. They can also authorize manager, secretary, officer in default, authorized representative to act on its behalf. And this user account cannot be, will not allow to file documents of other companies. So that is a restriction for it. Since it's a company, it can be used only to file its own documents. Next, we discuss director, designated partner, manager, secretary, and authorized representative. So these business user accounts can be used as access of all MCA FO services. It means that e-filing, adjudication related compliances. So basically, as I already discussed just now, Mr. X is a director in 10 companies. If one business user account is created, this account can be used to file the documents of all these 10 companies, but not on the 11th company, because he is not associated, he cannot file. Officer is in default. We discussed, if a board authorizes any person as an authorized representative or officer in default, he can create a login where he has got all the rights like a director where here he is associated. He can also view reply notices linked to their PAN number, e-adjudication, irrespective of the association with the company. So if XYZ appoints Mr. A as an officer in default, A has got these facilities, even he can respond to the e-adjudication notices, even though whether he is a director or not. However, he cannot file forms of other companies where they are not associated. That's a very simple. Basically, logic is company is restricted to its own filings. Director is restricted to his own filings where he is a director. Only practicing professionals, we'll come to the next now. Professional users. These professional comprises of chartered accountants, company secretaries, CMA having COP, not in employment. So practicing professionals having COP, once they registered role as a practicing professional, they have access to all MCA services of any company. So if I am a company secretary, I registered a business user account, all 15 lakh companies registered as a company, that I can file the documents of any company because I am a one of member of a CS. I got a COP, so I am authorized. They will not be required to obtain any authorization from any company to file any documents. So this role, practicing professionals, either CA, CS or CMI has got role of all privileges. He can file any documents. Professional staff members, they are those associated with the CA, CS or CMA in practice. They are trainees of professional firms, non-professional members. So basically, as we discussed, one CA, he will authorize 3 members to create sub accounts. Those 3 accounts will be used for filing the documents and for various purposes. So all the things is tracked through his membership number. Nodal officers. Apart from this, we discuss the director, company, practicing professionals, nodal officers, IEPF. See, under the Companies Act, Investor Education Protection Fund requires some compliance system. These include directors or CFOs or company secretaries of the company who are appointed for the purpose of verification of claims and coordination with the Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority. In addition, all the basic services available to registered users will be available. So basically, this is treated as a registered user, but only privilege they given is to process the claims and coordination with the IEPF account. This deputy nodal officer is an extension of IEPF. A company may appoint one or more officer as a deputy nodal officer to assist the nodal officer. So these 2 things normally not required for regularly. This is required only whenever there is a IEPF claims are there. To process that, they have to register. We have discussed general overview about the ROC filing in the past, how it is emerging in the future. Now we also discussed various types of user accounts. Now I would like to just say for members how to create the business user account. So we discussed first process in the sequence is first is company or LLP. How to create business user account for a company or LLP. Process is like this. Under these categories, if you look at it here, under category we have registered user and business user. Always we have to go for business user only. Registered user has got very limited role under the MCA V2, so we have to go for business user. This business user, we got roles. Company has the role, director, manager, secretary, officer in default, Professional staff member or professional. Now we are selecting. This is the MCA screenshot. First we select as a register. Now we are creating a business user account for the company. So category is business user, role is company or LLP. What is required is business user account, business user role. Select the business user as a category, role as a company. Next, update the company SIN number, name of the company, date of incorporation. Update when we create the company login, we need to authorize one person. So what is the person? Email ID, his name, his mobile number. Once you create authorize signature mail, mobile number and email ID, you need to create the password and confirm the password. Here there is one which is a hint question. I'll come to that hint question. Has got a lot of significance. We need to remember hint question. After creating the mobile password and hint question, he'll create the 3 passwords. He'll come on the company email ID and also his email ID and mobile number. Once he updates, then user ID is created. So for the company, email ID is created now. Similar to the company, now we look at it. What is the summary? If you want to create company user ID for any company, go to the site, click on sign in option, click register button, select category as a registered user, business user. In our case, is a BU. Mention mobile number and email ID, address, select profession, date of birth, mention password, hint question, update the OTP, business user ID creation. So, in that sense, these are the steps starting from the site login, register. This is the business user ID creation summary. So, how we have created the login for a company. Now, next important thing is director. All the directors whom wanted to use the filing facility with the MCA v3, business user creation is a mandatory. Now, how to create the business user for a director? Select the user category as a BU. You mentioned user category as a business user, and then select the role as a director. So in this case, role is a director designated partner. Update is PAN number, is a DPIN number. So for director to create a business user account, PAN number is not mandatory. PAN number is an option, but a DPIN is a mandatory. So director business user account cannot be created without DIN number. Hence, registered user ID is provided for incorporation. Since the DIN is allotted only at the time of incorporation, hence business user ID for a director can be created only after allotting DIN number. So this is the step 1. Step 2, after selecting the name and DIN number, he has to update the first name, middle name, last name, and date of birth. So this is as per the income tax database. Then select. Then update your address, email ID, and mobile number. So once you update these basic details, which matches with income tax database, then it will ask for a password creation, password key, password, hint question. Then once we complete this process, we'll get the 2 OTPs on mobile number as well as an email ID. So once we complete this, user ID is getting created. So user ID creation for directors is easy for the first time by with this basic details. But we have some challenges in case if the directors are already having a user account with MCA, then I cannot create the business user account. I need to migrate. We'll come to that later next. Similar to director, even for professionals also, we need to create the login. I'll come to it later. So most important thing is profile update. All existing users under V2, either professionals, chartered accountants, company secretaries, cost accountants, or a director, who are already having a user accounts on the MCA site prior to 31st August 2022, they cannot create the new user account. Rather, they have to log in as an existing user with their existing user ID and password, migrate the to business user account by updating the role. So procedure for updating the profile is as follows. Especially, this is most important for all practicing people, including me. Now already we have user accounts under MCA V2. So we should not create the new user account. Rather, we have to create the migrate from V2 to V3 by updating the profile. Updating profile is as follows. Here, we'll update login with the V3. After login, here are the basic details. There is a role is there. Under the role, you select as a business user. Then update these details, role individual. Then we have to update the DIN number in case of a director, and in case of a practicing people, we have to update our mobile membership number and PAN number. If all details are matches, PAN number details has to match with the income tax. DIN number details has to match with the MCA database. Similarly, in case of you have got a membership number, it has to match with the professional institution. So there is a three-way matching they are doing. One is income tax, PAN number, DIN, MCA database, membership number with the respect to professional institution. So once this matches complete, then we will get the successful validation. Many of the people has got a lot of issues in the second process, what we discussed. Migrating from V2 registered user to the business user or V3 is a challenges. We'll discuss at the end in the interactive session. There are many challenges are there where MCA's L&D team is helping to resolve the issues. Right now, there are a lot of issues are there. So we will discuss company user ID creation, director user ID creation, professional user ID creation is also as good as a direct user ID creation only. Instead of we'll have one more field, instead of DIN number, we'll have our membership number. The moment we have a business user account, the next process is we need to associate our digital signature with the MCA site in order to fix the DSC for filing. Associating DSC is fairly simple, not complexity. And prior to associating DSC, business user account of the person has to be created. Assuming that my business user account is not created with the MCA V3, I cannot associate my DSC. So once my business user account is created, so this is already login now. This is a V3 login. Once V3 login, then it will also FO services. FO service means front office services from associate DSC. Once we click that, there are three options to download and install latest DSC WebSocket install here. So that we need to download. This is an compatibility to download and install a latest Embed client. So this is an MCA. Once we download these two, in case of first time new tokens, they have to update the DSC PIN number also. Register. So DSC association, important point is here. Digital signature to be associated using business user account of their own, but should not be done using others. So if I'm using, if I would like to associate a DSC of my client, or say if I want to associate my DSC, first I should have my business user account, log into my business user account, go to FO services, select the DSC, download this compatible software, then it accepts. If I use digital signature of while associating different login account, this creates a compatibility issue, then we'll have issues. So very important thing is, whenever you would like to associate DSC to be used on their own business user account, but not different account. These multiple errors are there where people have done. Earlier in the version 2, we used to see using my user account, all my clients' digital signature we used to associate DSC. Now not possible. Now, business user ID creation for a CA professional is like a director. So is the now all again I'm repeating, all chartered accountants or company secretaries or cost accountant who are already having a business who are having user accounts that is called as the registered user accounts in MCA V2, they have to migrate to business user account in V3 by following the updating profile. They're not supposed to create. If they try to create, there are a lot of issues will come. Suppose who can create is person who doesn't have a user account in MCA V2 earlier, or he has started the newly practice, he has got new COP. Since he doesn't have his user account earlier, he can create same like a director as a new idea. So all existing people need to migrate. Only new user IDs, first time users, they have to create them. Now, business user ID creation by chartered accountants under V3. All existing business existing users of V2 under version 2 also, there are two types of accounts, business users and registered users. But many of the people they registered as they have registered users only. But sometimes under V2, if they are created as a business user account, directly they can access. But many of the user IDs are registered users only. If it is a registered user, they need to log in using V3 and change profile. Why I made this little reddish is we have many issues which is unsolved as of now. So this is a most critical because all chartered accountants who are in practice, who are filing MCA, they must be having registered users account only. They cannot create a new account. They have to log in to V3 and also change profile. In case if some user accounts, new users, the first time users, if any chartered account is starting practice first time, or earlier he was not having a user account he wants to create, he can create. Creating is easy. You need to create a login as a business user and associate DSC like a director. So this is a process for existing users, business user, registered user. If their account is business user, they have to access directly. If their account is a registered user, they have to profile change. With the first timers, they have to use it. So this is one of the important thing to know so that we can use the appropriate options with the MCA V3. Now, having said that, we focused most on creation of user ID various. Now, if you want to know somebody, what is the exact filing procedure under MCA? Suppose you want one practicing CA. You want to know what is the procedure to be known for filing. Step number 1, user ID creation. How user ID creation we have already discussed. If Mr. X is a version V2 user, if he is a registered user, he has to migrate to business user. Under V2, if he is a business user, he can directly use the version 3. Under V3, if he is a new person, then he has to. So for filing, primary requirement is user ID creation. Where are we? Am I here? Am I here? Am I here? Depends upon that. I need to create the user account. Once the user account is created, next process is DSC association. We discussed using the login of the same respective person. Go to FO services, DSC association. Once the DSC association is over, form preparation. Then as of now, we will come to that. There are 9 forms are notified under V3 for filing. Those are down form preparation. Download the form, using the form, assuming that if you are filing a DR3 KYC, first download. After downloading, update the form using the OTP. Some forms require some OTPs. In case of DR3 KYC, it will ask for 2 OTPs from the generate mobile OTP and email OTP. So we need to tell the client saying that whenever we wanted to start filing of DR3 KYC of a particular client, first we have to inform him saying that whether he is ready, then create the user IDs. After once get the OTP, update the forms, save. Once you save, submit. So under form preparation is first download the form, update. While updating, we may require multiple documents, multiple data, multiple attachments that we have to keep it ready. And sometimes depends upon the form, it requires OTPs. Why OTPs required is earlier people were not aware of the directors. So we used to file on our own. So now in order to give, fix the ownership on the director, saying that he is supposed to check with the person whenever OTP is sharing, he has to say for what purpose this OTP is using. So that's the purpose of OTPs. Save. After updating the form, save the form and submit. Then upload and payment. After submitting the form, SRN is getting created. So this section we have to download the form. When we download, this is a non-editable form. See, when I download here the form, here it permits edit. Once everything is over, I have to save. Once I save, I have to submit. Once I submit, SRN is generated. I have to download. So when I download, this is a non-editable PDF format. Earlier, in the V2, we used to send the PDF forms to the client. Sometimes if there is any mistake, we used to correct it. We used to correct and after the DSA. Now it's not possible. If you want to do any corrections, we will do it here only edit. In the edit, save. Save means is like a blog, submit, download. Once downloaded, affix DSC, upload, and make payment. So this is in nutshell. If the procedure for filing user ID creation, DSC association, form preparation, upload and payment under the version 3. So now I'd like to discuss about the migration process. What are the forms they are notified under the set 1? Under set 1, that is called as a first phase, notified on 31st August. There are 5 forms of charge related: CHG1, CHG4, 6, 8, 9. DR forms of 2, DR3 KYC, DR3 KYC web form, DPT3 and DPT4. As of now, MCA V3 is allowed to permit only these forms under V3 only. These forms cannot be filed as been removed or deactivated from the version 2. Only it is permitted under version 3. All set 1 forms excluding DR3 KYC web are required to be filed through business user accounts only. So if you want to file any form DR3 KYC, CHG1 or that person who is filing, he shall have a business user account. Without business user account, he cannot file. Only DR3 KYC web form is permitted. Registered user can file. So these are the forms in the phase 1. Why they made this phase 1 is, first, these are all not a time, not essential forms. See, if you go to annual filing, PS3, charge related documents, incorporation, increase in other share capital, these are very buyback related. Yes, all the documents are very significant importance. So that's the reason they said without touching those forms, initially they notified these are the forms. Not say DR3 KYC, not only name, address is required. DPT3, DPT4 is already completed. Next year we have to file. CHG1, not even much information. Here is only linking to the charge registers. So in order to facilitate, educate, create awareness for the business community, this all professional, they have released first phase these forms. so that people will get acquainted with the usage of MCA version 3 platform. Once this platform is over, then in phased manner, they're going to release some more forms also. Right now, they are not touching other forms because they have got a lot of errors. And also, it's an opportunity for a L&T team also to validate MCA website and also their platforms. So these are 9 forms covered under version 3. All LLP forms, as we know already, all LLP forms are available in V3 only. So we need to file any forms connected to LLP, we have to file version 3 only. This is an again snapshot. Mr. Srinivas was asking what forms, if I want to file some forms, how do I know whether V2 or V3? So now I made this chart. Whether if I want to say whether I'm on V2 or V3, very simple. All company forms other than set 1 9 forms under V2. So if any form, if they want to file AOC 4, XBRL, MGT 7, any forms, since it is not covered under set 1, it is V2. All LLP forms, set 1, the 9 forms which you mentioned, CHC, DPT3, DY3, KYC, and V3. So this is a snapshot of people who wants to know. So if what I'm going to file is not covered under the set 1 forms, V3 portal not required, they can continue to use V2 version 2 portal, complete the filings. So this is about the forms reference. Having completed various types of business user accounts, company, director, professionals, we also discussed procedure to create business user account, how to migrate. We also discussed how to associate DSCs. What forms to be filed, covered my forms, whether V2 or V3. What is the procedure? Now, after having this basic discussion, I would like to touch upon about the certain technical issues which we come across that is most important. It's not so easy that whatever discussed in screenshot, it cannot happen so easily. Each and every option has got its own technical specifications. Suppose if OTP is generated, certain OTPs are valid for 30 minutes, certain OTPs are valid for 15 minutes. So like that, if you see what is authentication and technical details under version 3. Preconditions for filing any forms under V3 is like this. The following conditions need to be fulfilled. Again, the user should register MCA portal as an LLP user or designated partner or as a professional. The user should have a valid username and password. The user should follow the instructions kit, and they should have all the attachments necessary for with the Dsa signatures. Now, user authentication under V3. OTP authentication is mandatory under V3. Business users required to business users is required to enter OTP sent on mobile. So as we discussed already, all business users under V3, whenever they log in first time, they have to feed user ID password plus OTP. Also, so once it is given, next time they can log in the same system. Or whenever they change the system to new system, you have to log in multiple, you have log in from a new device. So OTP is also required whenever we use a new device. So if I'm using my PC, my laptop, once I give an OTP, next time I have to use only login and user ID and password. OTP is not required. Suppose from my system, if I want to use my account in different system, since I'm changing the device, again it requires a OTP. And login after 30 days. So if you're logging after 30 days, then it requires a OTP. Now, this OTP, in order to establish saying that same person is been used. Second thing is, in case if we fail continue 2 attempts due to wrong user and password, still it requires a OTP. So what's happening is, OTP says that the person is the same person using same system, or if he is using after 30 days, he has to give OTP. Suppose if he has done forgotten user and password contains 2 attempts, not even 3, then he has to share the then he will get the one more OTP. If you encounter 3 failed attempts, either invalid username or password, 3 attempts. So second attempt is okay. Third attempt, if it is use wrong password, the account will be blocked for 4 hours. In order to ensure that the is not making continuous attempts. After 4 hours, it releases. In case if they want to use immediately due to some urgency, then they need to reset the password by following the forgot password. So this is a technical requirements under V3. How long session is valid? Session is valid as long as one is active session. The sessions would expire after 5 minutes of inactivity. It will be notified after 4 minutes. Next question is, can I use login multiple devices at the same time? Not possible. Only one user session per platform will be allowed at a time. So if I got Chandra Sekhar as my user account, I need to use only one my laptop at a time. So the same user ID cannot be used in another platform at the same time. If I want to use in another system, I have to log in, log out here, there. So multiple logins and different systems are not permitted. So this is what I think important. One CA office is having some 10 assistants. So his user account is permitted only once. So 10 people would like to access the system. That's the reason they're given facility of creating staff members. So one CA is having 10 assistants. He can create a 10 staff member accounts so that 10 systems can be utilized for filing. So that's the purpose of staff members. Next question, my question is, can my account be suspended or deactivated? This has become very important. In case if the user does not log in for continuous period of 60 days, repeating, the login account if is not used for 60 days, then account will be deactivated automatically. So it means that all these business user accounts has to be used regularly. If not unused for 60 days as security purpose, it will be blocked. In order to activate the account, the user should be required to reset the password using the forgot password option. User ID will be blocked if the wrong password is used 3 times, like any other bank OTP. User ID, if I use the password 3 times continuously, account will be blocked. If it is blocked, how to retrieve? Simple process. If I forgotten my user ID, how do I retrieve? We can do the retrievation. Access to the MCA sign up page, say forgot username, it will ask for a PAN number, int answer. So this is important. We have discussed while creating each ID with a company, director, professional, it is asking for hint question. That is why it's so important is whenever I forgotten my user ID and my password, if I want to recollect, apart from one is a PAN number, then they'll ask for a hint answer. So whatever there are 4 questions are there, my first car, place, my first school, my pet name, something like that. Then if both my PAN number and hint answer matches, then only I'll create the restore my user ID or password. I'm repeating, resetting of user ID or password is permitted using a forgot user ID, forgot password. For that, 2 requirements. When I go for next, I have to give 2 combinations, PAN number, hint answer. If I don't remember, if these 2 doesn't match, this option of a forgot the restore is not possible. It has to be again. We need to contact the MCA. So that's the reason. Whenever we create a hint answer, we need to be we should remember or we should document somewhere. Click the submit button. Then we'll get the OTP on the mobile. Same OTP will be used. In case if you do not receive the OTP within 1 minute, please request for OTP confirmation details. So here this is about forgot user ID. This is about forgot password. more or less same procedure. So here also we will be redirected to a new window. Once in case of user ID, 2 accounts, PAN number and hint answer. In case of forgot password, I have to give the user ID, then it will ask for hint answer. So in both the places, hint answer is very important. DSA verification. So this is about whenever we forgot user ID or password, in order to retrieve, this is possible. Repeating at the cost of repetition, hint answer we must remember. If you forget the hint answer, that restore option is not permitted. Simply we have to forget. We need to contact the MCA back office for a further support. That will take longer time. Next, multiple roles under V3. Can I add multiple roles to my profile? Yes, we can add multiple roles. So multiple roles means director is having another role. This feature is only available for registered users and business users other than director, other than the company. So if a person is a director, he is also practicing professor, is a practice chart accountant, then he can have create a multiple roles. That is permitted. How we can do is we can use the option add role provided on profile update. So these are some of the options. What are the roles? Director, designated professional, partner, professional, manager, secretary. These options we can use it. Can I save the okay? Now I coming to the preparation of the form. While preparing the form, one of the major issue in the V2 to V3 is, as we discussed, V2 is download online, prepare offline, upload online. So one form, once you go to point number 6, if attachment is not there, then you can save the form, get the attachment. And also prior to starting the information, you can take a printout of the form, keep all the documents ready, we can prepare. At any point of time, if you stop getting the information, we can close the form, save and close. In case of e-form, the challenge is, unless I complete information in the first screen, it will not allow me to go to second sheet. So I do not know what information would be required for a sheet 2. So this is a one challenge. First of all, this is online. When I'm completing point number 4, if I don't have information connected to the point number 5, say director address is not there, I cannot go. I have to just save and come out. I can't go to next page. Again, next page, if they want some information, we do not know. So these are some challenges as of now. Right now, we don't know what is exact all the requirements prior to starting. So we are in the transition mode. That could be the reason where MCA has given only 9 forms in order to get acquainted with the new system. So coming to our forms, whenever we prepare the forms, if information is not there, until then we can save and come out. How to check the form details and status? So in a particular user account, what are the things he can look at it? The user will also be able to access the previously saved form. So if I got my business user account, I can check all this information. What are the forms file? The user will also be able to access the previously saved drafts at any point of time using my application history function on the dashboard. So the moment if I go to my application, all forms file uploaded, payments made, form status approved, forms draft stage which are not completed, everything will show the status. So form number, name of the number of the form, SIN, LLPN as applicable, name of the entity, SRN. So when I go to my business user account, my application tab, I can check in my dashboard what are the status, how many companies are filed, how many out of which how many approved, how many not approved, how many in draft stage. So this facility is available only for a business user account. not in the registered user. Now on the dashboard, these are the forms will show if the draft of the waveform is saved till the time is SRN is generated, status will show as a pending for submission. So it means that when a form is in draft stage, which is not submitted, it will show as a draft pending for submission. The moment if you submit, SRN is getting generated. Next process is Dsa upload. So Dsa upload is not done, it will show as a pending for Dsa upload and payment. The moment if I complete Dsa applicable in case of resubmission, once the SRN is updated, after submission till the time PDF is successfully updated. So similarly, decision dashboard will show at wastage whether is a form is in a draft form, uploaded, submitted, DS is not fixed, payment is not made. So this is the some of the stages of the various forms which is available on the dashboard of MCA and my applications. So some more technical details. Size of the form from a V2 to V3 is increased. Maximum size, the size limit of the documents and certificates to be attached. The maximum size of each attachment of form shall be 2 MB. However, the overall size limit of the form is increased to 10 MB. So in presently, we have a 6 MB. The 6 MB is increased to 10 MB. However, each file, each attachment should not exceed 2 MB. These are the one requirement. Some people will be looking about what are the browsers. This portal is best supported in Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and Mozilla Firefox. So these are the browsers which is beneficial. Now, sometimes if the forms are not completed, can we import the data from previously filled form? So we can't import the form. Data cannot be imported from the previous file. There is no provision for import of data from any previous filled form. Will I get the confirmation for resubmission of forms? Yes. Yes, you will be notified through the email. Whenever we submit the forms, we'll get the notification through email. Continuing my the technical details. One set of form is under the resubmission. Okay. In the process of our migration from V2 to V3, there are auto set one forms. There are charge letter form, which is under resubmission in V2 portal. Now, can I resubmit the form in V3? So it means that they have filed earlier charge related form. Now a charge form in V3. Can they resubmit? Yes, they will be able to resubmit the form in V3 as per the notified form layout. They should find the V3 web form, downloaded PDF, and then upload in the V3 version. Once it is submitted, form will get routed to V3 back office. Basically, all as the same process happens, as and when the migration continues, all the forms, existing forms will be processed under old process. Any forms which is required for resubmission, if it is not resubmitted, the same thing can be resubmitted in the new version. However, information you have to share as per the new form, only you give the SRN number, so that no additional payment and timelines also. So this is for resubmission. Few of set one forms filed in portal are pending for processing V2. So some forms filed which are not approved. So what is status? All pending SRN of set one forms and V2 will be moved to the V3. So what are the forms which are not approved will be processed on the V3. So these two questions are we keep getting regularly. What happens in my forms? This one. So this problem they have taken care. It will process the new portal under V3. Now under V2 we had a payment option, payment online options. Offline initially was there, subsequently they were modified. It is not permitted. Only pay letter option is there. So V3 they get little. The government of India, I think we are aware, the new portal called Bharat Kosh, non-tax receipts portal. NTRP is the one platform for collection of all non-tax receipts. Basically, coming to our filing, payment options and process. Under MCA 3, V3, we got online payment option, offline payment, pay later option. So, and in addition to the online payment, offline payment, pay later option, they also given offline payment option also. So, this payment, either offline payment or pay later option, once we generate the challan, this payment will be made for a challan within 7 days. So, under new version 3, online can be made using all NEFT, RTGS, whatever the credit card, debit card, offline pay later option, challan generate, make payment after within 7 days, offline payment. This is the process. Payment could be made either immediately on the successful submission of the SRN through the application dashboard. Then full particulars would be shown. So once you say these details, transaction, company SIN number, full particulars remittances. This is amount payable. Nominal amount 200 rupees. Additional amount is nil. Then 200. So then we have to choose either online or offline. The moment if I choose online, then we'll submit. Once you submit, then payment mode, we'll get all the details, corporate affairs, amount 200 rupees. Sir. So this is the amount, his email ID. Once we confirm, I think. So once we confirm, challan will get the status, see here, payment purpose, deposit details, confirmation information, pay. So I think once we come to the stage 4, we will get a challan status will show as an approved. Continuing online payment options. Here the terms and conditions. So now coming to the offline payment. Offline payment is also possible. I can generate the challan as offline payment here. Once I generate the challan, then it will ask for the details, how we are going to make payment. Then it will ask for here whether is it my application, payment challan or NTRP portal. It will create user ID password. And this is a data. So basically, to make user friendly, they're given 3 options: online, offline, pay later option. We can use any other option. This is like earlier, not much change. So we discussed basic types of users, migration, payment process, certain technical glitches. I think one point I missed out. Wherever I said use OTPs, all OTPs are valid for 30 minutes, barring 1-2 places it is 15 minutes. So minimum is 15 minutes, maximum 30 minutes. They're given little more relaxation so that we can get the OTPs and authenticate. Some more options. Next, what is the way forward for the MCA V3? Roadmap for version 3. Phase 1 started in March 22 with the LLP forms. Phase 2 started in September 22 with the 9 set forms. Here, 9 forms set 1. Phase 3, they are yet to notify. So this way forward is important. They started March, introduction of a few LLP forms. Subsequently, with their experience, they were made from 1st September company forms, 9 forms. Now, both LLP and company forms are on V3 is active now. They are finding a lot of difficulties, lot of challenges. I think L&T is unable to cope up. Though MCA, they're making a statement saying that this is no issues, but there is a ground reality, something different. There are n number of issues are there. Now, after minimum 5 to 6 months or so, once after stabilizing all the forms, new set of forms may come. Right now, they said as generally they are not able to give the timeline. because they don't know how the things are going to be metallized, how when the things will get stabilized. There are certain designing problems also. If you see under MCA V2 DR3 KYC web form, if a file, if once one director web form is filed, again assume that if it's a director in 10 companies, if other company director wants to, company management wants to know whether filed or not, we used to go directly under V2, we used to give the DIN number, it is to give status. If already web KYC is done, it is to say it is already done for the year 21-22. Otherwise, it is to create a OTP. So it is a simple process. But under V3, that is not the case. If one director is a director in 15 companies, one company has done the Day 3 KYC, other companies, 14 companies, they are not aware. Tomorrow, being 30th is last date, if they want to know what they have to do, there is no, if they give, there is no option like V2. If you give the DIN number, it will not show. If you give the DIN number, it generates the 2 OTPs, mobile OTP, email OTP. You update the OTP. After successful validation, after verifying everything, you will get an error saying that DR3 is already done for this director for this year. This is totally wrong. So again, one more director, one more company also. So one more company also, they may do the same thing in order to find out whether the DR3 KYC web form is done or not. Initially, we design under V2 was very clear, very simple. The moment if I get the DIN number, I have to get the status. In this case, the status, it comes after successful validation of OTP. I do not understand the logic how, which is system was in V2 very clear, they made this. Here the problem is if the directors are very senior member, every time we have to disturb whether the DR3 KYC is done or not. So most of the time, since nowadays for everything and anything is a OTP, directors they don't remember OTP for what purpose they're getting. They only share with the concerned person based on their trust. So what I wanted to say is there are certain glitches from the MCA side. There are certain glitches from the user training and awareness. Also, there are certain fundamental, I don't know whether error or mistake or deviation from the designing itself. It's very clear when a DR3 KYC is done, it has to show immediately on the first step only, not in the last step. So with all these things, then I think there are many people they again feedback. In fact, recently in one of the session, the L&T people they confirm saying that yes, looks to be this is the designing. It is done like this. We may have to relook at it. So in the process, there could be some changes may go even designing also. Changes will happen. Then new form they'll notify under the V2. Now, summary of our discussions and key points what we discussed, if you recollect, all forms under V3 are web-based forms, online download, online preparation, online upload. There is no offline. So life is only online. Few attachments have been removed. Record information is either captured in the mission. So some of the places they removed attachments, that information they're capturing in the forms only, because it is easy for them to interactive analysis and also comparing with the corresponding details. So few attachments have been removed. They've also made a signature by IRP, RP liquidator for charge form, because this RP and liquidator, they're responsible for their other signatures for the companies. So they've enabled these people also to file form CHG1. All schedule forms excluding DR3 KYC are required to be filed only business user account only. We discussed already. Filing a set1 form to registered user discontinued. There are some places, especially when it comes to CHG 148, the mechanism is that the moment you file the forms, automatically notification will go to the opposite person. So then he can download with the DSC banker. And sometimes, so banker is not fixing DSC, company can file on its own, and also our notification will go to the ROC about the intimation. These are all certain related to the charge related. Right now, I think it may be not so relevant to discuss about a process. CHG1, CHG8, 9, it is operational. So there are some changes that are done. This about the forms. Okay. Now, having said completed this last 1 hour or 1.5 hour discussion, we discussed many points: how to create login ID, what to create, what is the OTP, all the things. Now, there are certain tips. This I thought I need to share with the participants, which is known to you. Now we are in VUCA world: vulnerability, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Changes are dynamic, and hence constant learning is order of the day. Most important, yesterday's solution, what I know, may not hold good for today and tomorrow. So whatever we discussed, whatever we're doing the process, yesterday we filed, it may or may not hold good today and tomorrow, because there should have been some dynamic changes at the site. So there should have been some changes. With this information, when it comes to MCA, how we have to rectify errors, simple tips, though it may not be so logical. Whenever we find an issues, do not consider those issues as a problems, because suddenly some pop-up will come. Don't be panic. Rather view this issue as a common mistake. We should normally, for most of the time, we'll have basic problems, basic solution, but we'll think something as a different as a problem. So whenever there are issues are there, let's do the basic validation for the issues. What are the basic validations? Log out the user ID, re-login, or close the browser, open, or sometimes restart the PCs. I've got many times solutions, especially with all these technical issues, these basic validations. So my suggestion is, whenever something is not happening, instead of struggling there only, thinking from very seriously, taking pressure, just come out, log out, close the browser, restart the PC, again you open browser. Many times, 20% of the times, my problems are sorted out, because sometimes the files must be sitting in the browser. Or second thing is, use a different browser. That is also important. Instead of Microsoft Edge, use the Opera or Firefox. Now, next question is, today I've also found some solution. Use the social media. WhatsApp is the best solution. Social media, WhatsApp is the best platform for getting solution to such issues. Whatever we get a solution, instead of we thinking on the solution, just put it in our group wherever we are associated. We'll get the solution, because other people must have encountered, they'll get the easy solutions. Use YouTube for solution. Most of the time you'll find a solution. Better solutions are through share, exchange, and interact with the like-minded people. This is a mantra, because technology is so changing. Nobody is perfect in this world. Whatever I know, other people may not be knowing. Whatever they know, that may be useful for me. So best thing is share. Whatever I know, share wherever, share, exchange information, interact with the like-minded people, so that I learn, they learn, mutually we learn. In learning, you will teach, and in teaching, you will learn. Phil Collins. So in the process of learning, you will teach others, and in teaching for others, you will learn. So this is some of the tips for MCA. Whenever we get some issues, use these basic validation steps. You make use of our professional networks, so that we will get the solution. Otherwise, will be very difficult. Today, I found one solution. While filing DR3 KYC, I need to affix a digital signature at the respective place where there is a blue color button has to pop up. Since yesterday night, blue color pop-up is not coming. Multiple times I done the basic validation check, restarted, browse, everything did not work. I checked with some person. They told don't use that. If not there, leave it. You sign this a signature like any other document and PDF document. Using the signature option, you sign it, it works. So it's a new change learned today only. So I signed the document, uploaded. Actually, this is not supposed to be. Then he has come to know through other sources. Must be people when continuously they're changing. So these changes we can learn only through our continuous interaction with our professional fraternity. So these are some of the tips for this one. Having said this, coming to the final session, before we could go to question and answer sessions, key learnings or key takeaways for the participants, I can put like this. Objectives and purpose we discussed. Look back for ROC filing. What was the filing between 1956 to 2006, post 2006 to 2011, 11 to 22, and 22 onwards? How the things are changing. Key changes in MCA filing we discussed. Types of users we discussed. Company, director, professional. Facilities available for registered users versus business users we also discussed. We also discussed how to create a business user account for a company and director, practicing CA or CS or CMA, how to associate DSC, what is filing forms filing process, when and how to update a profile of existing MCA users. We also discussed list of forms notified under MCA V3, only 9 forms. We need V3 platform only for those 9 forms, not for others. Authentication, basic technical details to know. High level changes done comparing with the V2. Famous Alvin Toffler said, the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. It means that in the olden days, illiterate means used to say people who are not studied, but it's not like that. In the today's era, illiterate the person who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So we in this VUCA world, we have to learn new things, unlearn old things, relearn new changes. So then only we can, as we discussed, this digital transformation of MCA V3 can be taken as an opportunity. Otherwise, it should not become a challenging or a threat. So with this, I think I'd like any question answers, or we can have some interaction. Ms. Srinivas?
We have one question in the chat box.
Yeah.
Which login should be used for DPT3 forms which are yet to be filed?
V3, because any forms, all these forms, they moved from version 2 to version 3. So then we need to use only V3 only. These forms are not, these 9 forms has to be used V3 platform only.
Yeah. And one more question, if any form while preparing online takes more than 5 minutes, whether the login session will be expired?
As long as we are keep updating the session is active, it will not expire. The moment if I stop update the system and leave inactive, after 5 minutes it gets logged out. So better thing is keep updating the data. When the moment if you're going away from the seat, save the form and you can re-enter the data.
These are the only 2 questions, sir.
So if any members have got any questions, even I think that they can unmute and we can share. We can
one more question. Should I use company SIN only for filing DPT3 forms?
Question is like this. It can be filed for a DPT3 can be filed by 3 people. If the company has got a user ID, it can be used company file. If a company has no user ID, if a director of that company has user ID, he can also file DPT3 because he is associated. If these two people are not registered, practicing person also can file. So here the restriction is company user ID can be used only to file on its own forms. If the company has got user ID, if the company user ID is not created, no issues. One of the director, if he has got business user account, that can be used. Assuming that even if the director has no user ID, practicing person can file forms.
Hope this answers.
Yeah.
Yes. If there are no questions, should we conclude, sir?
I think there are no questions we can conclude, but if there are any members, if there are, then instead of typing, even you can they can unmute and also they can share. I think the members can unmute and speak in case if they want to.
That is not allowed here, sir. So they have to give it in the panel only.
I don't know this protocol.
Yeah.
So I'll unshare now.
Sure, sir. One more question. Maximum limit of a professional staff members to a professional and procedure for professional staff ID creation. What is the maximum limit for the professional staff members? Suppose if I've registered as a professional, what is the limit of that professional staff's user ID? And secondly, what is the procedure for staff ID creation?
First question is the maximum number they have not yet put the ceiling as of now. I think in the days to come they will fix it. Second, it is creating the procedure is like a business user ID creation only. This is an extension where the professional first he has to create his business user account. From there, he has to add professionals as a staff member as a staff 1, staff 2, staff 3. So that all the filings will be routed through the system.
Unable to download receipt of DIR3 KYC web form file. Someone else receipt is downloading. Please advise.
I think I don't know whether the same thing has happened to me also. Yesterday, 2 days before I filed on a web form. It is actually it is created some of the challan of Mumbai one Nayak. The solution is I think this is as I said is a technical issues. What you do is you check in your business user account, in your business user account, whether that form is approved or not. If it is approved, while creating challan, I think there is some integration issues. So members should ensure that assume that I have filed say X day 3 challenge created the something, but in my user account is the DIN number should show as an approved. And also then it is advisable to create one ticket so that now it serves the two purpose saying that we are taking care of our interest. Second thing is MCA will correct such issues. Mr. Om, I think this session, though I have some of the slides I did not complete. Those are procedure related. Since this being a technical session, one is if it is offline, we can show a little more. Second thing is those are system driven. So there's nothing to discuss. The moment if once you go one after one, if you want to forget password, say forget password, it asks for your hint question, then it goes. So what we should know is what is the procedure whether it's possible or not. The problem is forget password. If the person doesn't remember the hint answer, then it is not possible. You need to raise a ticket to the MCA, which will take a longer time.
Yeah. So someone has posted the same question that DIR3 someone else director is there, but at the end there's one additional to it, and OTP authentication is also not allowing. And it is showing as, when can we check it is showing as upload in other place? When he checks, it is showing as approved in other place. It is not allowing for OTP authentication, and DIR KYC some other directors is showing as pending for approval.
3 KYC pending for approval. I think, can I read the question now? Is
Yes,
it
sir.
possible for me to read?
We found in DIR 3 web KYC some of the directors are showing as pending for approval and not allowing for OTP authentication. However, when we check, it is showing as approved in other place.
I think again, if once is up, that's the reason. The two things, when OTP is not authenticating. Second thing, but actually, DFP KYC is like this. Once the director has done a KYC, challenge just gets generated, form is approved. Next person for the same DIN number, if you do try another person for the KYC, it checks for OTP. After successful validation, while creating challan, it gives an error saying that this DIN is already done. So, but in this case, if form is already approved, OTP authentication has to happen. If not happening, means could be some technical issues, or maybe what we can do is we can ask the person who has filed, we can take the challan, and the challan we can keep that as a record for our purpose. This one. Second one, what is saying?
Second question is, however, when we check, it is showing as approved in some other place.
Yes. So I think that is an see, once the form is approved, and in between there is a look, as we discussed, especially in DA3 KYC, the system integration is complete is not done. There are some issues are there. I think once is approved, they no need to be panic. We can keep that as a record. Right now, they're not permitting second OTP authentication again.
And Mr. Santosh Kumar has suggested for the same question, KYC might have been done in V2 and V3 it is showing as pending for approval. Is that a possibility, sir?
No, I checked it. That also done. See, this DL3 KYC, it is connected to the director's database. I said if whether it's done in V2 or V3, after successful authentication, it will show as an error. So V2 is done also. In the V3, if you say first it takes OTP authentication, subsequently channel will not generate. It says that it get error saying that it is already approved. DL3 KYC is already done.
One last question I think we can take. Found an error in DIR KYC web form file. It is approved. Can we change it now?
Form okay, they've given the error, is it?
Found an error in DIR KYC 3.
Okay.
So can we
If I
change it?
if I understand the question, while applying for DA3 KYC, they have done some mistake. Form is approved. So if
Yes.
such a form is approved, means this year they can do. Then again they have to file a DA6 with the change in the details. DA3 KYC web form is only where there are no changes. If there are any changes there, then they have to file a DA3 KYC separately.
I think most of the members' queries is resolved. I don't see any questions in the chat box as well. I think we can conclude, sir. Firstly, I thank you, sir. Even in this busy schedule, you've agreed to come and attend the session. And secondly, of course, our members who are even in the busy tax audit schedule, there are participants who are eagerly waiting and who have attended the schedule. And this shows the relevance of the complication which they are facing in even in the MCA portal. Which was, however, it was last year, it was on income tax portal, and this year we are trying on the MCA portal. Of course, thank you, members. Thank you for actively participating and coming for this CP study circle meet. And sir, also thank you to you as well for extensively clarifying and adding value to our knowledge kitty. So how we can face the challenges of this MCA. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, all, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, all the participants. Thanks one and all. Thank you. I'll log out.
Yes.
So thank you.